Let's get right into it. We're starting with this hard drive because I have it balanced on a remote. None of this is glued in place, obviously. The paper is still on it. But I actually have 4 different color acrylic windows I'm going to glue in place. And I purposely kind of left some of the edges jagged. I'm hoping that won't just look bad. We could always go back and smooth them out, I guess. But to kind of play into the jagged effect, I figured there'd be a little bit of a gap between these. So I need to get the paper off these, and I want to sand the back side of all of them. And the end goal is to have 4 of those color changing LEDs, one kind of by each window. And yeah, that's kind of the plan. So if we sand the bottom, I want the top to still look pretty smooth, and then that'll kind of help with distribution. All these are sanded. We're getting ready to at least kind of tack them in place with the hot glue and then get a feel for what it looks like, see if we want to go back and change it. But honestly, I really think I'm going to like the jagged edges there with the little gaps. I think it's just going to match the vibe. What do we think? So here's the hard drive we got to put in there for the Beta Xenon. Got a nice chrome side trim piece. Actually see the color reflection with the light off there. There's our vents we did a while back. That's all matching with it. But before I actually put this together, I still need the LEDs. I don't have any more of those. I had to order some. So yeah, I guess we're good with this stuff until those show up. So let's move on to something else. Next quick little thing is cutting out a little bit in this cage for those barbs to stick through and have enough room for tubing. I think we can line up at least the holes on the right side. This is kind of an odd radiator as the fans they're like farther apart. So they won't exactly line up on this side. We can just modify some of the pre-existing holes. And we should be far enough away from the power port to where we don't have to cut into that on the shell. Mount it in place, and it's a pretty crucial part for continuing mapping out the rest of this. Pretty simple. We might need to cut a little bit more over here once we get some tubing involved, but this already pretty much lines up with 2 of the holes. That seems to be in a pretty good spot. Fortunately, still can't do a whole lot else. I have a fan coming. I want to make sure that is going to fit here with the pump alongside it. And as I said, the pump we want mounted to the frame, as well as the reservoir kind of mounted to the top of this. And then we'll just put the shell over top with cutouts for both. And then the fan will most likely be attached to the shell itself. And I mentioned the thin green fans in here, but since we are going to have this on the outside, we've got plenty of space here. We'll probably go with the noise blockers or Noctuas. I guess speaking of these fans, I have 3 of them now, and I'm going to put all 3 in the Toy Story build. So that's going to go inside this Opus. I guess that's something we could do next. Although I have quite an itching to take this one apart and just blast it with the heat gun. Honestly, same with this one. This one was completely dead, doing nothing. And I just really am curious. I think it's time. Let's get them down to bare motherboard. Just kind of blast them, see if we can get either of them to boot at all. Quick side note, we're doing a controller to match the Pizza Planet truck build. That's just a random battery cover to cover that area, but we got the rust look stuff down on there, which is just brown and orange, and then we're going to put some yellow, and yeah, do the same thing as the side panels. Wasn't too much to take off of this one. We already stole the heat sinks and DVD drive, took the remaining stuff off, and the thermal pads, all the cables. And basically we'll clean this off, plug it in like we were going to do to the Zephyr, and just try what we did on that one. Kind of preheat it basically with the heat gun, and then we were going to just let it overheat with this, but that one ended up working. Now this one is the one that did nothing whatsoever, so who knows what's going to happen. Anything? No. We'll try a couple other ring of light boards, but I don't think this one's going to do anything. Yeah, nothing. Oh yeah, This was the one with all the bad caps and all the ones behind there. Never mind. We did get the controllers sanded down, a little bit of clear coat on there. I don't know if I like it as much as the side panels. We'll see what it looks like with buttons. I think I want to go with a whole set of just all white buttons on there. Maybe clear, we'll see. And we put some color shift clear coat on this here. We'll have to see what that looks like. Probably going to need another coat. So, it's been raining for 4 or 5 days, on and off. I've only been able to get little things done here and there. It's still raining. It wasn't supposed to today anymore, but anyway, you can see we've got Vader, all the fluid drained out of this one here. And I guess it's time to tear it down. I still don't have the fans in. I don't even think they've shipped yet. I kind of forgot about the holiday. And yeah, we're going to do the board swap between Vader and the Toxic one. And it's going to be a lot of work to get this one down to the motherboard, but I'm hoping we can at least get the Toxic one back together, even though there might be a couple other little details I want to change or finish up on it, which is no big deal, but I want to at least get it together to where we can test it out with this board. Got this one down to here. Kind of forgot that the pump had sparkle paint on it, but this is obviously all covered. Just have to admire the loop here. Now, we do have the top half over here, and yes, the wiring is one thing we're going to deal with. Honestly considered, we can't really take the temperature display bezel off. That's part of the structure of the shell now, but I guess I have considered taking the temperature displays out. It is a cool little feature, but obviously on Aurora, you know, it just doesn't really matter, and they're not going to be as accurate. And if I do take them out, I would still I have a bunch of broken temperature displays, and I've always wanted to just use the casing, kind of take all the guts out of it, and just use it as like a little display case, I guess, and just put something inside of it, have it lit up, and we can still hook that up to the switch here. I do want to leave the green light on the Death Star grill. But, I guess I'm delaying a little bit, because this is, get to this point very easily. Got most of the fluid drained out. There's going to be a little bit sitting in here probably. But I guess I just need to start unhooking tubing. And then this piece here was a snugged fit, and then it had adhesive across there. And when I redo it, I have some much nicer adhesive. Stuff I actually used to seal the fan all the way around the outside. We did have some bolts kind of holding it in. And I really just had hot glue originally holding it in place so nothing moved while we drilled holes to mount that stuff. But then I went back, took the glue off, and used an actual adhesive that basically becomes like rubber cement. And one, I just wanted to seal that gap around there, and two, a little bit better for the structure of this instead of just having a few points where it's held in place. And then obviously this one here is screwed in place on the back side. I still might want to cut out a little bit more of this center part. I didn't want to because of the mounting holes here. And we kind of cut a hole on this side. This is obviously a whole grill, but I think it's going to be better to cut more of this out. So this is a good section of the radiator here and the airflow being blocked. So if we could at least cut this out, maybe a little bit more of that center grill, just for a little more airflow through that one, I think that would improve it quite a bit. For the wiring, the only thing I want to change, whether we keep the monitors or not, I guess if we don't, we could use 12-volt LEDs and that wouldn't be a problem. But if we keep them, I want to hook them to the DVD cable. I also want to loop that cable on there that I've been doing for the ones without the disk drive. This one was still trying to open once in a while for some reason, even though we had it to where this wasn't flashing. But anyway, the stuff, 12 volts coming off that DVD here, some of the LEDs, and especially this LED here, the really bright ones. Now what I want to do with this is I want to keep this one, and I really liked this being on the inside instead of illuminating the back, but I also still want the back illuminated. I really liked how you could at least see the little message on the back at the top. Since the whole bottom of this is painted red, I want to use the same LED but the white one for the back, and we'll keep the red on the inside, and it just really makes the whole thing glow red a lot nicer. And then we'll have to see with the other fans. I wish they had all red, but they just don't. And the only red ones they had that had enough of the Ace fans were red on the outside with green blades in the middle, and I thought that was fine anyway since we had a little bit of green. And then we're going to make sure all the other fans are still hooked up to our distribution board right to this point here so that we can adjust the fan speeds. Okay, I got to take this apart. We've got all of the parts taken out. Kind of crazy to think all of this was inside that Xbox, along with the motherboard and frame still downstairs, but we're going to store this stuff in here just for now. It's not getting stored away. This still needs to be done ASAP, but as soon as those replacement fans come in, I guess we can kind of test these out, see how bad some of them are. I'm not honestly too surprised. I got a set of UV ones, same OK gear, and a couple of them were bad right off the jump. Like the bearings were just really loud, so not surprised. Definitely have faith in the Ace fans. I've gone through a whole bunch of these. Haven't had any that had a weird bearing problem. So we have it down to the bare motherboard, and we'll bring the cage up here as well, but I'm going to make those slight modifications to it. Now we need to do the exact same thing to the Toxic build. Here we are with the Zero fuse, much easier to take apart. There's no fans, shroud, DVD drive, radiators, pumps, temperature displays, water blocks. Anyway, we got the motherboard out. Let's go ahead and take the heat sinks off and slap them on the other motherboard. These are actually both Jasper Chronos, but obviously this one is a Zero fuse CPU and that one is an RGH 1.2. Did have to remove the whole front window situation with the LEDs behind it and everything so I can get the motherboard out. I'm hoping I can kind of set it back in one piece. So I was thinking about taking the white LED off. That's this one here that we put the little bit of acrylic over to make it a little more green. But I think I want to take this off, and I just got a set of the magnetic UV LED strips that I've used many times in the past. And I think I want to use one of those instead. The white is nice. It's very bright green coming out of all the vents, but I still think it's going to be not as quite as vibrant of a green if we just put UV in there and let everything glow. So before these go all the way back together, I thought it'd be cool to show a few differences here, and obviously dust this one off for sure. So they are both a Chronos. That's a Chronos 1, Chronos 1. For starters, we've got red caps on this one. This one's got blue. And then I noticed other random caps, like this one has a black one here and then a brown one. This one's both brown. Same in the back. This one's the opposite, brown and black. This one's both black. Down here we've got a brown eject button and then an infrared sensor with a red line on it, which I guess that could be fluid. It looks like a little bit of fluid got down here, probably from filling, and it just kind of dripped around the side. We'll get that cleaned up. This one has a blue eject button, no stripe on there. And I think one of the biggest differences is this area back here. We've got two black caps, a brown one here, a couple chips here. And if we look at this one, this is the Zero fuse, we have the brown cap, no chips there, no capacitors there. Anyway, when we finish getting the thermal paste off, we'll have to clean up. Looks like a little drop here, and there was a drop somewhere else. It looks like it just came from the top as it was in the upright position. And this one obviously has accumulated some dust. We've been using it for about a year. This one's pretty clean. Heatsinks back on the RGH 1.2 board. Now let's take care of that UV LED strip I want to add, replacing the white strip, and then we'll just have to put this little window back in place and finish putting it together. Got everything back together. We put the other hard drive in that was already kind of linked to Vader. Final chapter in today's video. Number 1, I forgot that this mod chip has a bright red LED. Doesn't really matter when it's on, but obviously when it's shut off, kind of affects the glowing of the fans, which I guess isn't a huge deal, but yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and cover that up. Copper plate over top. It's actually basically a heatsink for the hard drive. And since there's no longer an SSD in there, a regular hard drive that actually gets warm, figured I'd put that on there, but mainly I think it's going to look pretty cool with the LEDs. And this is Falcon. I think that's just about it with this thing. Besides changing a few things on the hard drive, I still need to swap the controller over to one that doesn't have a little bit of a weird situation going on when you go all the way left. Now I like that a lot better without the white LED strip here. The UV one up there really makes the ring of the fan glow. Thinking about maybe we could put the other one on this side. I didn't plan on putting both in there, but we could. And we'll have to go back in there anyway to cover that LED. Otherwise, we should be good. Besides the Darth Vader stuff on here, we'll have to change. Okay, so 21 chassis is already a lot higher than what the zero fuse was reading, but I feel like that one wasn't accurate either, and already way better, 28, 30, 34. This was the Vader board, but now we can actually see a difference between the water cooling system. We know that that one was capping out low 40s across the board, so we'll see what this one gets up to. Just going to sit back, play some games for a little bit, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So in dash launch here, we're now at, what, 38, 33, 31? So I do think, I mean, I'm not saying the CPU is going to be as good as when it was water cooled, but we do know 70 was just wasn't right. So I'm sure it's still going to be a little bit higher. Obviously the heatsink has been cut a little bit. It's probably about the same size, if not smaller, than the original one that's on the CPU, but that's why we're going to see the bigger difference in the GPU. And we do have the fans just set to 100. We could try actually setting a target there, but I just feel like with this fan you might as well just have it spin up pretty quickly. If it's on 12 volts, I feel like we're going to be fine. Below that, it's probably going to have to ramp up to 12 volts. Not that long anyway, so. One race in, we're at 50, 42, 40, 26. Two races in, 27, 43, 45, 53. Now it is worth noting we are upstairs, which is a good 5 to 10 degree difference, honestly, from downstairs. Let's see what we got here. 54, 46, 44, 28. I feel like it's pretty much reached its top there. And honestly, I would say that this is probably what the zero fuse was at, but the temperatures on there was really completely different. Yeah, chassis is like 10 degrees different. I could have swore both of those in the middle were in the 30s more, maybe around 40. And obviously the processor was reading like 70 something. So hopefully we get those other fans in soon and we can get all of this stuff onto the zero fuse. And I might be even more curious about the temperature difference on this one, if any. Head back to the home screen real quick. That's right, we're running Steam. That is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not forget to not like, comment, or subscribe, and check out that membership. We just gave away the Grand Theft Auto 4 faceplate, and there's only 3 people, so they had a 1 in 3 chance of winning. And I'm hoping to give away stuff like this at some point. So, yeah, check out that membership, and see you guys in the next video. Yeah, that red light. I don't know. What do we think? Is it bothersome? Should I cover it up? Anyway, see ya.